So let's go back to 2017. A small team of researchers at Google publishes one single paper, and it would go on to completely change, well, pretty much everything we thought we knew about artificial intelligence. You've got to understand, this wasn't just a small step forward, it was a total pivot in how machines could understand language. So in this explainer, we're going to break down that very paper, Attention is All You Need.
Because if you've ever asked yourself that question, what exactly is the T in ChatGPT, the answer is right here. The secret sauce behind the whole generative AI explosion we're living through is hidden inside the architecture laid out in this one document. And it all started with a huge problem that everyone in the field was completely stuck on. To really appreciate just how big a deal this was, we first have to talk about the wall that AI researchers had slammed into. Before this paper, AI had this fundamental problem, this bottleneck. It had to process language one step at a time, in a sequence.
Okay, so imagine you're reading a really long novel, but you can only read it one word at a time, from start to finish. By the time you get to the end of a long chapter, you've probably forgotten some of the crucial details from the beginning, right? Well, that's the exact problem that models like recurrent neural networks, or RNNs, were facing. They were stuck processing data in a straight line, and it made it incredibly difficult for them to grasp the connections between ideas that were far apart.
I mean, the difference between the old way and the new way is just night and day. The sequential approach was like a snail, slow, and it kept forgetting the context from just a few sentences ago. But the parallel approach this paper introduced, it was a rocket ship. It allowed a model to see every word and every connection between those words all at the exact same time. It made AI both way faster and a whole lot smarter.
And that brings us to the paper itself. It came from researchers at Google Brain and Google Research, and they weren't just proposing a little tweak to the old system. Oh no, they were proposing we throw the old system out completely.
And just look at the title. Attention is all you need. That is such a bold, almost provocative thing to say. The authors were basically claiming that this one single idea, attention, could replace all the complex machinery that was the foundation of language AI at the time. And they spelled it out right there in the paper's abstract. They were proposing, and I quote, a new, simple network architecture, the transformer, based solely on attention mechanisms, and get this, dispensing with recurrence and convolutions entirely. This wasn't an upgrade, this was a complete replacement, a truly radical idea.
So what did they replace it all with? This beautiful concept called self-attention. Instead of reading left to right, self-attention lets the model look at a single word, and in an instant, calculate how important every other word in the sentence is to it. It's like it builds this entire spider web of relationships all at once.
Okay, but how does a machine actually pay attention to a whole sentence at once? I mean, that sounds kind of like magic. To answer that, we need to pop the hood and take a look inside the transformer architecture.
The whole thing basically has two core parts. Over on the left, you've got the encoder. Its job is to read and really understand the input text, like a sentence you type in English. It uses self-attention to build this rich mathematical picture of what the sentence means. Then on the right, the decoder takes that deep understanding and uses it to generate the output, like translating it into German.
And to get an even richer understanding, the transformer uses something called multi-head attention. The best way to think of this is like a committee of experts. So instead of having one attention mechanism looking at the sentence, you have a bunch of them. The paper used 8, all running in parallel. Each head learns to look for different kinds of relationships, and when you combine all their insights, you get a much more nuanced picture of the text.
But wait a minute, if you're looking at all the words at once, how do you know what order they were in? The dog chased the cat is a very different thing from the cat chased the dog, right? Well, the authors solved this with this incredibly slick trick called positional encodings. They basically add a tiny piece of information to each word. Think of it like a unique GPS coordinate that just tells the model its exact position in the original sentence. Problem solved.
And we can actually see this whole thing in action. Check out this visualization from the paper. The model is processing the sentence. The law will never be perfect, but its application should be. When it gets to the word it's, the attention mechanism lights right up and correctly connects it all the way back to the law. It's not guessing, it's actually understanding the relationship.
So, this new architecture was clever, it was elegant, but here's the billion-dollar question. Was it actually any better? Let's get to the results and see what happened. To measure success, the researchers used a standard test for translation quality called a BLEU score. All you need to know is a higher score means a better translation. The previous best models were all kind of stuck around the same number. The Transformer got this, 41.8. It was a brand new, state-of-the-art record. It outperformed every single model that came before it.
But that new record? That wasn't even the most impressive part. The Transformer got that score while using a tiny fraction of the computational power. I mean, the old methods needed orders of magnitude more number crunching. So the Transformer wasn't just more accurate, it was wildly more efficient.
And it's that combination, higher quality and way lower training cost, that really lit the fuse on a revolution. One that we're all seeing the effects of right now, every single day.
You can draw a straight, unbroken line from this breakthrough to the AI we all use today. In 2017, this paper gives birth to the Transformer architecture. That architecture becomes the T in models like GPT, and today it's the foundational technology that powers this entire generative AI movement.
When you boil it all down, that ability to move from slow, sequential processing to fast, parallel processing, well, that was the key that unlocked everything. It's what finally allowed AI to be trained on truly massive, internet-scale datasets and to scale up to the incredible power we see today.
So this one single paper taught machines how to truly pay attention to our language. And it leaves us with the defining question for the next decade of AI, right? Now that they can finally listen and understand, what should we choose to tell them? What should they focus on next?